Okay, students, we're on lesson number 3, measures of variation. And it's exactly what you think it is, measures. It measures a variety of different things on when you're working with statistics. So let's go ahead and kind of look at this objective here. This essential question tells us, how are the mean, median, and mode helpful in describing data? That is the essential question. How are the mean, median, and mode helpful in describing data? Let's first go back to identifying what the mean is. The mean is the average of a data set. It is the average that you arrive at after adding up the total number of pieces of data you have and then dividing it with that number of pieces. The median is actually the number that appears in the middle of both of those, and in my opinion, basically are similar. They fall in the same category, students. And then we have the mode. The mode again is the number that appears the most in the set of data. So let's look at our vocabulary that you're going to be working with. You're going to have measures of variation. Quartiles is exactly what you think it is, like a quarter. Quartiles. First quartile, there's a third quartile, and interquartile range. Then there's the range and the outliers. These are the vocabulary words that you're going to be working with in lesson number 3. So let's go ahead and look at what measures of variation, what the definition is for that. So measures of variation are used to describe the distribution or spread of data. So it's sort of like what something looks like. And many of you have probably seen something that looks like this. And that's called a bell curve. And everyone knows that anything up here is the highest and down here is the lowest. And some of you have probably seen something like this. That's another, where you could say it went up, down, all the way up, down, and it was the highest point. That's measuring the data, students. They describe how the values of a data set vary with a single number. A quartile is one measure of the variation. So it's like pieces, like that. Everything in there would be a measure of a variation. Everything in there is a measure of variation. So that's basically what they're telling you, students, is a quartile is one measure of variation. Okay, it's one measure of variation. Okay, students, what I want to do is just go ahead and do beginning with quarter means quarter. We know quarter means a quarter, 25%. We know that much, don't we? There we go. So the definition for a quarter is one of the 4 equal parts into anything is or may be divided. Let's look at that again. Let's pause and let you think about this definition of a quarter. Okay, students, so basically it's one of the 4 equal parts. 4 equal parts. So it would look something like this. Let's just say this circle here. One of 4 equal parts. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. Quarter. Now, quarterly. It's occurring done, paid, at the end of every quarter year. So if we were to say every quarter year, how do you divide a year into 4? Well, it's 12. So every 4 months, I pay my insurance quarterly. Every 4 months, I pay my insurance. That's what quarterly means. Quarterly, occurring, done, or paid at the end of every quarter year. So every 4 months, actually every 3 months, because it's 3 times 4. So every 3 months, I pay my insurance. And that means that I pay it quarterly. Okay. Okay, students, so this real world link is very interesting. And this is something that you can look at that actually you can pick data up on. So James asked his classmates how many hours of TV they watch on a typical day. This is great right now, especially since everybody's stuck in the house, huh? How many hours of TV do they watch a day? So here, 3 students said none. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 students said 1 hour. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 said 2. 1 said 3. 1 said 4. And 1, 2, 3 said 5. So this right here are the number of students. These are the hours. So these are your hours. And these are the students. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to look at this data. Right here, it really went down. Here it was persistent. These two are the same. Divide the data into 4 equal parts. Okay, all you need to do is you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 divided by 4 is what? 4. So we're going to go like this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. How many data values are in each group? 4. Now, if I was going to look at this and look at this, the statistics, the stats, the data that we have, and I can infer what happened here where there are only 2 students who watch TV here and here. Well, you never know. Maybe these students don't have any siblings. I don't know. We're inferring. Maybe mom and dad are home. Maybe during this time you have more students who are watching less. Maybe the parents are home. Maybe it's dinner time. That's what's interesting about looking at data sets, student data sets. And that's how we use the mean, mode, median, and data sets to identify information that we see in the real world. Okay, information that we see in the real world. So when we look at this data set, it's an average of 4 students per quarter, 4 equal parts. Remember that. All right, students, I want to go over some more vocabulary. This is basically what this lesson's about. So here are quartiles. Quartiles are values that divide the data set into 4 equal parts. That's what we just did. First and third quartiles. The first and third quartiles are the medians of the data set. And you're familiar with the word medians of the data set, of the data values less than the median and the data values greater than the median, respectfully. I will show you what that basically means, students. It's just like the first part of the data set versus the last part. That's basically what that means. And then you have the IQR, which is called the interquartile range. This is the distance between the first and third quartiles of the data set. And we're going to work these. They're going to seem a little much and a lot to figure out, but we'll work them, and you will gather the information. And I can guarantee that if you watch my videos and you do the homework, you will figure this. You will actually enjoy doing these. I love these. These are great. And then the range is the difference between the greatest and the least data values. So the range would be like if I have 98 on one end over here, 98, and then I had 3 over here. The difference is 98 minus 3 is what? 95. That would be the range. It's the highest. The difference means what? The difference means we are subtracting, students. Remember that. If there's information, especially in math, that I've taught you, when we work the cube, is to look for information you don't need and to look for information that you do need, to look for the operation that they're requiring you to do, look for words that you understand, like difference. Difference is subtracting. Okay, sum means you're adding. So remember those, and remember how important it is, students, to read what they're asking you to do. Okay? Read what they are asking you to do. Okay, let's look at this one. Here they put numbers together. See how they have them all in order, because that's what we've learned how to do. That's very important. And remember, I was telling you it's the difference between the first part and the second part. Median's right here. You guys know that. They go and they take quartile 1, the middle, quartile 3, and here would be over here the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So do you see how they separated them? So 0 to 1 to this one is called quartile 1. These right here are quartile 1. Because they took all the numbers and divided them into what, students? Into quarters. 4 quarters. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's quartile 2. They don't identify it because we know that. Then we know the median is right here. It's the middle of both of them. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the end of quartile 3. And this one is quartile 4. We do not need to identify it because we know that that's 4, and we know that this is 1. We know that this is 1, and this is 3. This would be considered 2 because it's in the middle of it, and this is 4. Now, they broke it down into 4 parts. But what they don't do, students, is they only identify Q1, Q3, because we assume we know that the median is half of this and half of this. Half of the first pieces of data versus half of the second pieces of data. So that's why they only have identified Q1 and Q3, because we already know where 2 is. We already know 4 is at the end, but we don't even need to identify those. We only need to identify quartile 1, quartile 3. And as you see this right here, students, remember, the first and third quartiles are the medians. And the data value is less than the median. So look at this. Okay, there's your first, and here's your third. 1/4, 1/4. 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. So we have how many? We have 4 quarters. There's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and here's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it, students. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to determine the measures of variations. And that's the measures of variation, students. They consist of the quartiles, first and third, and the range, and the interquartile range. But I'm going to do them step at a time. So I have all my numbers here, and I'm going to put them in number order. Remember that. You put them in number order first. So what's my lowest number? 58, 56. It looks like it's 56. There you go, 56. What's my next number? 57. And my next number is 58. 59. 60. 62. 71. Okay, so let's look at these numbers. We have how many pieces of data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I forgot these up here. Wow. Let's go ahead and do that. So here's 62. I have a 61. Let me redo these numbers again. I don't want it to be messy. Let's redo them again. Okay, I have 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 64, 67, 71. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10. You divide 10 into 4 equal parts. What's that going to look like? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be, first of all, we find our median. Hold on. Okay, students, the first thing we want to do is find the median. So if we have 10, it's the two numbers that should be in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to look at these two here, and we're going to find the median. So we're going to go ahead and take 60 plus 61 equals, and divide that by 2. So my median is 60.5. I'm going to put that right up here. And I know that that's the median. Okay? So the next, that's a measure too. That's a measure of variation. So if this is my middle right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have to find a median within these because I'm looking for 4 quarters. All right, so this is my median, 60. Now I look at these, and I want to divide these. So I have 4 equal parts, so I take these two here to find my first quartile. 57 plus 58 equals 115 divided by 2. So this is going to be 115 divided by 2, because you have to total both of those. is 57.5. And you can tell that that's right in here. So Q1 is going to be in between these right here. Actually 1, 2. This is actually my Q1. Because actually you have 1, 2, 1, 2. It's actually in the middle. I didn't even need to do this. I wish I would have known that. So this right here is my Q1. Okay. This is my median. And so this, of course, because I forgot, I had this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my Q3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we just found the Q1 and the Q3 and the median. Now we're going to find the range. So the first one, we're going to go, our median is what? 60.5. Q1, quartile 1, is 58. Quartile 2 is 64. And the range, remember to find the range, you take the highest number, 71, and you subtract the lowest number. Minus 56. Equals 15. So my range is 15. It seems like a lot, students, but I'm not going to give you. I'm going to give you a couple at a time so you can get used to them. But they're a lot of fun, and I'm going to do one more with you in a minute.